Hi, thank you for spending some time to watch this short virtual sharing on building resilience with adverse child experiences or BRACE. My name is Atia. I'm a registered counselor and a senior program coordinator for community development at Trefwell. I'm going to be talking about adverse child experiences, and all of the information here are adapted from Trefwell's BRACE workshop. So while watching, you can also refer to the ACEs pamphlets that I've shared in the WhatsApp. Some of the learning targets of this sharing includes understanding of what ACEs are, the prevalence, impact, and effects of it, as well as what can be done together as individuals, families, communities, and even companies. Before I get started, here is a quick disclaimer and reminder about this topic of ACEs. As we will be talking about adverse childhood experiences, some topic included in this sharing might be sensitive to some people. So a heads up, do take some time to prepare emotionally, or even if you decide you'd rather not attend, that's totally okay. Some parts might be upsetting or triggering to your own experiences, so it's okay if you do feel upset, or if you start feeling distressed, it's totally okay to pause or even stop watching completely. Let's dive into it. What are adverse child experiences? Adverse child experiences, often called ACEs, represent really difficult and scary experiences or a lack of extremely important and good experiences that can happen to children as they grow up. ACEs are divided into three categories. The first one is abuse, that is being hurt physically, emotionally, or sexually. Neglect comes in the form of physical neglect, like not having enough food, clean clothes, or a safe place to live. And emotional neglect is when feelings and emotional needs are ignored or not taken care of. The last category of ACEs is household challenges. For example, living in a home where there is domestic violence, having a family member with mental health issues, or who is abusing alcohol or drugs, having an incarcerated relative, or parental separation through divorce. So, why are ACEs important? ACEs refer to potentially traumatic experiences that occur in childhood and can jeopardize a child's safety and well being. These experiences can make children feel very stressed and can affect their health and well being even when they grow up. They can have negative effects on a person's physical, emotional, and mental health throughout their lifespan. Down below, you can see the prevalence of ACEs. A lot of people experience ACEs growing up. A big study of 17,337 participants found that 70% of participants experience at least one ACE in their life, and 48% reported experiencing four or more ACEs growing up. So, if we think about it, they are more common than we realize. The effects of a person living in a constant state of fear or stress while the brain is developing are significant and long term. This is because the brain is adapting to focus on survival at the expense of developing in other ways. Some key brain areas that may be impaired include areas responsible for logical thinking, problem solving, and planning, such as the prefrontal cortex, and areas responsible for memory, which is the hippocampus. Other effects of ACEs during childhoods are associated with delays in development in the first few years of life, language difficulties, increased risk of failing a grade, requiring special educational support, whether in school or external, being suspended or expelled from school, having poorer physical health, contact with the police or going to prison, and executive function challenges. What is executive function? So, executive function is like the brain's manager. It helps you to plan, focus, remember things, and control your actions and emotions. Having difficulties and challenges with executive function can describe difficulties with planning, organizing, and time management, trouble with focus and attention, struggle to hold information in mind while using it to complete a task or solve a problem, acting without thinking, difficulties regulating emotions, difficulties with initiating tasks and procrastination, as well as struggling to adapt to change. So, how can ACEs affect our lives? ACEs affect brain function, which in the wrong circumstances can potentially lead to difficulties regulating emotions, such as having meltdowns and impulsivity, having poor memory, lack of attention, and language difficulties. ACEs are also associated with poor school performance. Studies have shown that children with three or more ACEs are five times more likely to have attendance issues, six times more likely to have behavioral problems, 3 times more likely to experience academic failure. ACEs are associated with high risk of health risk behaviors. These are actions that can harm health or increase the likelihood of getting injured or sick. For example, adult smoking and alcoholism, IV drug use, suicide attempts, and even unplanned or terminated pregnancies. Lastly, ACEs have an intergenerational impact. Effects of ACEs can be passed on from one generation to the next, creating a cycle of trauma. Parents with ACEs may find it hard to create a safe and loving home for their children. They may then rely on tough parenting practices. So, all this being discussed, what can be done by us? We can start by building a healing community through promoting positive connection, increasing interreliance, establishing healthy boundaries, fostering emotional safety, as well as reducing shame and blame. We can also ensure a strong start for our children. That is through early childhood intervention, high quality childcare, as well as enrichment and family engagement. For parents, families, and teachers, it's important to teach essential skills such as social emotional learning through understanding and recognizing emotions and improving communication skills. Emotional regulation techniques such as coping strategies and breathing exercise would also help parenting skills and family relationship approaches. Lastly, through promoting self regulation, such as social engagement through exercise, play, participation in music and rhythm, and theater activities within a community setting, as well as integrating calm physical tensions in the body through massage, deep breathing, yoga, progressive muscle relaxation, and mindfulness exercises. Before I end the presentation, these are just some of the emergency hotlines that if you do feel triggered or uncomfortable and require immediate professional services to attend to your needs, you can reach out to some of these resources. Thank you so much for listening to my sharing about ACEs. I hope this sharing helps you and benefit you in some ways. And do please help to complete the short survey online, which the link has been provided in the WhatsApp you've received. Lastly, if you are interested to learn more about Trifle, we are a social enterprise pioneering and innovating trauma-informed mental health solutions in Malaysia. You can surf our website or go through our social medias. Thank you and have a nice day.